bag alert, major bag alert, bag alert, alert, alert.
Wi-Fi going down?
No, that was just me actually like thinking the Wi-Fi was going down, stopping, and then restarting. Everything's cool. It's not even Wi-Fi. Hardline,
Gotcha.
baby.
Yeah.
We're sponsored by Tito's Handmade Vodka. Welcome to another ham mailbag.
Yes, we are. Love our
Very
friends at
easy.
Tito's.
Go to iTunes, leave us a review. In that review, leave us a question. Tell us your favorite bar. That's how you get in the ham mailbag.
Yep. And if you're drinking this weekend, tag us in your Tito's tweets or Instagrams.
Yeah, or DMs. DMs are open.
When you have your Thanksgiving meal, too, show us some pictures.
Yes. It's a great idea. All right, John, here we go. Into the mailbag we go. Whoops. Into the mailbag we go. From Flipgady3. Thanks for the 5 stars, Flipgady3. Favorite bar is Sunshine Saloon in Pleasanton. That's in the Bay Area, people who aren't from here. Where do you think Jimmy is in 2022? Pittsburgh? Houston? Somewhere else? Kyle runs it back with him one more year?
I just that can't happen, and I just don't think it's possible.
I do
it's
think it's
not
possible.
Improbable, which that would be insane. It really would. It's one thing to run it back with Aaron Rodgers and Jordan Love, and then just run Jordan Love out of town. It's another thing to trade 3 first-round picks. That's just I think he could make the playoffs and win a playoff game. I think people would think like, what the fuck is going on? It'd be weird. Do you agree there?
It'd be insane.
They would get crushed for it. Like, did you take the wrong quarterback? Because McCorkle's playing.
Also, at this point, like, are they gonna? The whole what if the Niners win the Super Bowl and Jimmy plays great? That whole scenario that you and I stopped talking about. But what short of that even allows for this?
Yeah, I don't think it does.
Unless you just go, you know what? I got it. I got something to say, guys. Kyle pats his chest, does the my bad. Trey Lance not good enough. I gotta wear this one. My bad. But anyway, we're moving forward with Jimmy.
Could you flip Trey for 1-1? Like a late one to one of these bad teams? You probably could, couldn't you?
Like Carolina, somebody who liked him, maybe.
Yeah, could football team give you like the 14th pick for Trey? But that'd be a disaster. I mean, let's not even talk about that.
It'd be pretty alarming that Kyle Shanahan just bailed on this guy and is willing to take 50 cents. I guess it'd be 30 cents on the dollar for him, right? Yeah,
it'd be nuts. I think Jimmy's just going to have a lot. It depends. Like, he keeps having games like that. Maybe he is tradable, right? Again, for like a 4th, 5th round pick, and you'd rather trade him than cut him, right? Because you'd rather get a pick. But he does have a no trade clause. I think there are several teams, right? Pittsburgh, football team, Houston, I think the Giants.
I can see him in Atlanta. What
about Matty Ice?
I thought this was Matty Ice's last year in Atlanta, no?
Remember, his contract's enormous. I think he's kind of stuck there.
Oh, I thought he had... So maybe there's 2 more years on his enormous contract?
I feel so, yeah.
Okay. Did you say Denver?
I did not say Denver. I could see Denver. Feels like Pittsburgh. That'd be fun.
Pittsburgh does not feel like a match to me.
Jimmy does not feel Pittsburgh.
Even though, here's the thing with Jimmy. When you watch Jimmy talk, it's a lot of the stuff, like he carries himself. He's confident, but he's not overly confident. He's deferential. It's not a lot of ego in the things he says, but he's also not rattled by the media. Like, I think he handles a lot of the stuff that's required of a quarterback pretty naturally. And I just watched him talk again the other day, and it's pretty natural for him. Like
he's been doing it now 5 years.
Yeah,
right.
He's just comfortable being himself, and maybe you could put him in a. I mean, he did play in cold weather, John. Why wouldn't Pittsburgh work?
If he got to Pittsburgh, he would have led a pretty good football life, right? Pat's Brady.
Yeah.
Kyle gets him, goes to the Super Bowl, and then gets to go to the Steelers. Like, goddamn. There have been some quarterbacks that, they're the best team they played on was like the Houston Texans. He'd be pretty lucky.
Next up, John, this question. How hot is Kyle Shanahan's seat if the Niners do decide to move on? What are some potential names for that would be good replacements?
It's touch your desk, touch the floor, touch anything that's not hot. That's how hot it is. It's not hot at all. There's no temperature.
If the Niners moved on, so we're saying that's not the option. If for whatever crazier things have happened, Kyle's like, I'm out. Who would you say should be the Niners' next coach? And I agree with you. His seat's not hot.
I think you just have to hire an offensive guy that would want to work with Trey Lance. Brian Daboll, probably Brian Daboll, just the easy one. I called Lincoln Riley, probably.
Yeah.
With Lincoln Riley, if you offered him $20 million a year, you think he'd even leave? He might not.
I mean,
Get Trey
$20
Lance,
million in a year.
let you be the boss. But with taxes, California,
Still, it's true. Josh McDaniels doesn't feel like he's going anywhere.
Yeah, but Jed, someone told me that Josh McDaniels was mad at Bill because a couple years ago he was supposed to interview with the Giants, and the Giants called last minute, and Bill made him stay back and said, hey, you can go interview later next week. I need you to do some things. Josh's like, no problem. Didn't think they were going to rush to hire. He let Joe Judge, because the special team coordinator didn't need to do anything else, and they didn't think anything of it. Like, Joe Judge, he's not going to get the job. He'd already accepted the Mississippi State job, goes there and interview him, starts giving him the Patriots secret sauce, tough guy. They love him. They offer him the job. He becomes the Giants head coach. Sources have told me that Josh was furious about that one. And I did see them hug, him and Bill's kid. So sometimes these things get, like, hyped up. But, like, that's a moment where you're like, fuck you. Now, looking back, like, would you have wanted to work for Gettleman? It probably was the best thing that ever happened to Josh, make Joe go there. But Joe Judge is head coach. Josh isn't.
Just stay where you are and get that job eventually.
I think
unless you get passed over by Bill's kid.
I think they would go to Josh.
Yeah.
I mean, I think
the Niners.
They would want. Remember, they wanted him last time.
Yeah.
Well, what had changed?
Next up.
He's like, can I bring Mac in the transfer portal? You're like,
This is this is from Injector. With Kyle Shanahan being adamant on sitting Lance for the season, should there be a worry that he'll look like Jordan Love did versus Kansas City? Does Kyle not see Lawrence and Fields getting better by the week? What's he going to do when those two look like Josh Allen and Lamar in 2022, and he's stuck with Mitchell Trubisky 2.0? By the way, check out Broncos Cocktail Lounge in Santa Clara. I don't know if that's like a college bar, Santa Clara Broncos, but it's a cocktail lounge.
Have you ever been to Santa Clara's campus? You ever done any of their games?
I have once for basketball.
Terrible.
I remember thinking this is nicer than I thought it was going to be.
Got you.
But I don't know.
I don't even know anything about it. You could have put a gun to my head, said what their mascot. I would.
Their gym was
Santa Clara Broncos.
Broncos. Yeah. Is there a worry that Trey Lance will look like Jordan Love did?
Yes. I mean, we saw. I mean, it's going to be to think that he's just going to come out and hit the ground running and throw 45 touchdowns feels like a stretch. Feels like there would be some very, very bumpy roads. It feels like, let's say they make the playoffs this year, 10-7, they get the 7th seed. They cut Jimmy or trade Jimmy. I would say it was no lock that they make it back with Trey Lance's first year as starter. 17 games, winning 10 plus of them. Wouldn't you?
Say it again.
Let's say they make the playoffs this year and they lose in the first round, but they get in. Kyle has a pretty good moment, makes the playoffs, gets some credit. Off season, Trey Lance's time. They're either able to trade Jimmy or they cut Jimmy to use that money and insert Trey. Next year, are you confident that they're just going back to the playoffs with a first-year starter with 1.5 games of experience?
No, I wouldn't say confident. I mean, part of it would depend on the team they have around him. But I would also feel pretty good if Kyle somehow figured it out, got this team to the playoffs, and they righted the ship. I'd feel okay about it.
Trey Lance was viewed coming out of college much more highly than Jordan Love.
Don't forget, Jordan Love, Trey Lance
was
played
a project too.
Well, Jordan Love was viewed more highly coming out of college when he wasn't coming out of college as a sophomore, when he had 32 touchdowns and 6 picks. Then he was a big name going into his junior year, and he wasn't as good. He went from 64 to 62%. His yards went down. His yards per attempt went down. His touchdowns went down dramatically from 32 to 20. His interceptions more than doubled, almost tripled from 6 to 17.
But shouldn't he be improving with Green Bay, like over 2-year span?
Well, yeah. I mean, you should be. It's hard to improve when you don't play. Aaron Rodgers also an exception to a certain point. Like, I don't know, but legitimate question. Next up, mailbag. This should be a sound effect. Mailbag. Next up, Alex from Fresno, big fan of the pod, Valley native and fellow Bulldog alum. Check out the Fifth in Old Town Clovis, cool little dive bar, and in John's alma mater, San Luis Obispo, Bull's Tavern. And, of course, Tito's Sodas all night and day. Bull's Tavern, you know about that?
Yeah, it's where you go on your 21st birthday and you have to take a bull sweat.
I feel like this is the second time somebody's brought up that bar.
And you take the bull sweat and then you throw up.
And that's, what is that again?
a lot of different alcohols and Tabasco sauce. An alcoholic drinks every day would struggle to take that thing down. It's a lot.
It's not a question in this mailbag question, so we'll move on.
No.
Next up, this is from Blake. He says, love the Pac-12 football content at the end of the Monday pod. Please keep it coming. Would love to hear more Pac-12 football content. No pods talk about it. Question, do the Ducks have a legitimate chance of staying in the college football playoff if they get by Utah and the Beavs? The Ducks defense is playing a lot better with Kayvon Thibodeau and Noah Sewell playing great with a capital G. Also, Anthony Brown's running ability is a difference maker. My favorite bar is Riley's in Chico. If you know, you know.
Yeah, it's big.
You know about Riley's?
Well, I've just seen it on Instagram. It's like one of the top bars in America.
Gotcha. Look, if Oregon wins the rest of its games, that means they beat Utah this Saturday, 4:30 ABC at Utah. It means they beat Oregon State the next week, and it means they probably beat Utah in the Pac-12 title game, or they could play Arizona State depending on what happens. Utah just needs to win one of its last two, or have ASU lose one of its last two, and Utah plays Colorado in a week and a half, so they're unlikely to lose twice, even if they were to lose to Oregon. If that happens, then Oregon would play ASU in the Pac-12 title game, who they haven't played this year, and that would be a pretty formidable, talented opponent.
You like the Beavs this weekend, though?
The Beavs
Are playing
ASU. That game is
at Oregon State, +3. Oregon
7:30 on ESPN.
I kind of like. I want to put a little cash on the Beavs, but that's emotional. It's bias.
Yeah, I mean they just got bowl eligible last week, so maybe they got a little pressure off. Depends if they both play their best game, then I think ASU wins. But ASU doesn't play. That's the thing is Oregon State, even though they played 2 weeks not great, they lost to Colorado. Jonathan Smith fired his defensive coordinator, but he got back off the schneid. That's a tough game.
Did ASU stay at Portland last week? They went to Seattle, they go home, and then they come back to Oregon State. It's a tough little travel for college kids.
Yeah, that is. But it's also pretty quick travel, but direct.
I mean, it's a 3-hour flight, right?
Well, I guess they fly to Portland. Maybe they fly to Eugene.
It's a 2-hour flight from near you, flying out of Oakland to Scottsdale.
Yeah,
hour 45 minutes.
But Oregon gets in if they win out. That's the bottom line.
Yeah.
Oregon is in if they win. Too many other things going on. You got to look. There's so many one-loss teams. Again, Oklahoma's a one-loss, and they're 13th. Oklahoma State's ranked ahead of them. Cincinnati's there. Alabama still plays Georgia. Michigan State plays Ohio State this week. But the only thing Oregon's got to do is win. I think, and I said this the other day, there's no way for Oregon to win and not look good this week. I don't think. And they have been playing sneakily better football the last couple of weeks than they did in the couple games after they lost to Stanford. So
how many teams beat Utah at Utah at night? It doesn't happen very often.
It's
you think that place is going to be going berserk?
It's one of the most underrated home field advantages. Did you ever scout at Utah for a big night game?
Yeah, they were redoing the football offices, so they were in trailers at the time.
Oh yeah,
I never went to the stadium. It's pretty cool. It was
they've
right
added
across
some
the street.
stadium stuff and enclosed it, new seating, and the crowd is fantastic.
Where's the Pac-12 championship game? No longer at Levi's, right? It's in Vegas.
That's right.
Well, I mean, if it's Oregon, Utah, it'd probably be a pretty good crowd, right? Because Utah would right there.
ASU
Oregon
would travel
travels.
too.
Be a big little moment for the Pac-12 at the Kloskov.
And finally, John, this one was not a submission on iTunes, but it was so good that I had to include it. This is a great idea. I want to unveil it to you now. This comes from Joe Mazzetta. He tweeted at me the other day. This is before I even tweeted about barbers. This was Monday night. He said, I can't believe I didn't get a podcast Monday. But I'm excited for this Tuesday show. I had a fun idea. Listeners and followers send you guys pictures of their hair, and you guys debate whether the listener should shave it or keep it.
Listen, I'm very glad you did this, and obviously this belongs on the Saturday mailbag. I think we need to make a note and also mention this. Our big podcast of the week, numbers-wise, is also after the game on Sunday for Monday and Tuesday's pod. I think we need to bring this back up. This is an incredible idea.
Great idea, right?
This is incredible. But just, we'll have thousands of people are going to hear this, but, maybe we need to bring this back up.
Yes.
You agree?
I think this is such a good content idea. I had it in my head Could we grow this idea to the point that we just do like an exclusive, like, oh, it's our, what a pick a day. It's our Wednesday stream where all we do is go through pictures of people's hairlines, the whole show.
We also need people to give us names for it, right? To shave or not to shave, or just
right. Oh, right. Yeah. Plug it or.
Well, I think so many people. I mean, we're now, mid-30s. Is 37 late 30s or is that still mid?
No, it's mid. Late 39 is late.
Okay. I would say, I mean, it depends, but I'd say a lot of guys, I notice a lot of people in their 30s it starts happening. It happened to me in my 20s, but this is the prime time, I think a large percentage of our
You're saying our listeners are in, like, this is...
Yes.
Our people are grappling with this right now.
Or definitely are on text chains with people that they make fun of, close friends, college roommates, high school friends, right, that are going through it. Because it's a natural thing, guys. There is no... I'm sure there is, like, a woman equivalent, but this is pretty uniquely ours.
Yeah.
Yep. So to shave or not to shave, or we'll think of a name.
Because some guy, when I did the barber thing on Twitter the other day, somebody tweeted at me and they're like, if I didn't have these awful widow's peaks, I'd be spending more than $15 on a haircut. And I said, because you have those awful widow's peaks, you should probably be going to a more professional barber.
Well, I think the key is when you start losing your hair is you have to keep it short. I think people make the mistake of, like, they've had longer hair, like, let's say, like, your length. And once you start losing it, you can't do that because it exposes your weakness. It's like facing Belichick. You have to keep it short. It's key. You have to keep it short.
You're saying you used to be an explosive down the field offense, but now you have to understand that it's all about checking the ball down.
It's hard to pivot, guy, but you have to go. Tyreek Hill and
I'm a gunslinger. Well, you don't throw that far anymore.
No, you got to trim it, and really that means you got to get more haircuts. It throws people off. And it's what exposes them to their friends and their loved ones is they start noticing it, like, bro, your hair is too long. But there are only so many people in your life that can truly tell you that, It's a weird spot. And the older you get,
that's what we're here.
Yeah, exactly.
Let us be the trusted experts.
That is incredible. That's
Joe Mazzetta. You get a Tito's on us, Joe.
Yeah.
For that piece of content idea.
That's good, Joe. That's good.
I knew you'd like that.
Well, we'd probably need multiple angles, right? The front and the top. Because sometimes the front, it looks fine. And then you see, oh, my God.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe we could do it. Maybe it could turn into like a live consultation.
Yeah.
All right. On that note, thanks for hanging for the mailbag, everybody. Get on with your weekend.
See ya.
Don't. Go lay on the couch.
Do whatever you want.